Hari Om. In the software engineering course, in our previous sessions, we discussed module 1. From this video onwards, we will be discussing module 2. Module 2 deals with what is requirement analysis and specification, which is the first phase of software development lifecycle model. All the software development lifecycle models has requirement analysis and specification, which is the very first step for developing the software. So this module contains what do you mean by requirement engineering. Requirement analysis and specification is also known as requirement engineering. Then we will also talk about what are the different types of requirements. What do you mean by feasibility study? What are the different types of feasibility studies? What is requirement elicitation, which is nothing but requirements gathering, how to gather the requirements, in which we will be talking about the different techniques that are used for collecting the requirements from the customers. Then we will also be discussing what do you mean by requirement analysis and what are the different steps in analysis. Then we will talk about how to document the requirements collected and analyzed, and how to validate the requirement specification document, and what do you mean by requirements management. These are the different topics that will be discussed in module 2. In the requirement analysis and specification, it deals with how the requirements are to be collected, how to analyze the requirements, then after analysis, how this information will be documented as specifications in the SRS report. So say for example, when we are going to receive a request from the customer for a new software project, first of all, the developer needs to understand the project. Say for example, the new project may be replacing the existing system of the organization. For example, the organization may be having a manual system for the process, for the business functions, or it may be having some of the automated process also for running the business functions. So the new project may be replacing a manual system into an automated system, or replacing an already existing software or already existing automated system into a new system. Say for example, the result analysis of an institution is currently done manually. The new project wants the result analysis to be automated using a computing service. Or the system, the current system in an organization is having only a Windows application which is available only in the local area network. You want to have it as a web application so that the students, parents and teachers can also access the system from their home also. So the Windows application which is currently available only inside the organization, inside the local area network of the organization, it must be replaced as a web application. That may be a new project given by the customer. Now, whatever is the project that is submitted by the customer, no matter whether its functionality is old or new, each project will have a particular purpose. Now, this purpose will specify what the system can do. Therefore, The goal is we have to understand, especially the developer needs to understand the requirements of the customer, and then whatever understanding analysis the developer has done, it is to be documented properly. So the major objectives of the requirement engineering phase can be listed like this. The developer needs to identify the customer's needs, and it has to be evaluated. The system, whatever system is identified and understood by the developer, it has to be evaluated for feasibility. And not only that, during the feasibility study, the developer has to perform the economic and technical analysis, whether it is economically feasible, whether it is technically and operationally feasible. These things should also be analyzed. Then another objective of the requirement engineering phase is allocating the functions to system elements. There will be a list of business functions available, and these business functions need to be analyzed properly so that each business function can be categorized under some system element. Then all the constraints that are available, when the developer is studying the requirements, analyzing the requirements, he will understand what are the constraints or limitations of the software, what are the limitations of the system that are available, what are the different constraints. Say for example, the budget may be one of the constraint, or the environment of the organization may be another constraint. The environment cannot have a particular hardware equipment, or the organization is not able to allocate budget for purchasing different software tools or hardware equipments. These are different constraints that are available. Time schedule may be another constraint. So what are the different types of constraints available in the requirements collected should also be identified. Then all the definitions. So for each and every organization, it will have its own system definition, right? How the system is running, what actually each and every terminologies mean. So if I specify unit test result, how it is to be. If it is going to be university result, how it is to be specified. Then this is what you call as system definitions, right? If there is a leave policy, how it is to be defined. If there is a attendance policy, how it is to be defined. So all these things you call as system definitions. So that should also be identified and created. So these are the major objectives of the requirement engineering phase. So the developer needs to understand the system properly. Why? Because he has to find out answers for all these list of objectives. Now whenever we talk about the requirement analysis and specification, we have to understand what is a requirement. Now requirement is nothing but it is a feature of the system or a description of something the system is capable of doing in order to fulfill the system's purpose. Or you can say requirement is a capability or condition required from the system. This is what is the definition, or this is how we can describe what is requirement. So requirement is nothing but a feature of the system or a description of something the system can do, or you can say it is a capability or condition. Say for example, if it is going to be college management system, one of the features of the college management system can be conduct of examination, conduct of online examination. So conduct of online examination becomes a requirement for the college management system. A description of something the system is capable of doing in order to fulfill the system purpose. Say for example, the system describes the admission criteria, then the system will understand if a particular student is not having 55% of marks in the UG course, they cannot be admitted for the PG course. If this is the condition, so that becomes another requirement for a particular process, right? Describing something. So the description says that for the PG course admission, the student must have minimum 55% of marks in their degree program. So that can be called as another requirement or the criteria, that is, or the condition that is coming in the business operation, right? Or suppose, say for example, if there is a fingerprint reading for the attendance marking, then it becomes a capability of that particular system. So that can also be called as a requirement. So in general, any feature or any business function or the business process can be called as a requirement. And for fulfilling any of the system's objective, then whatever is described, that can also be called as a requirement or the capability of your system. Say for example, if your system can automatically generate the reports of students, right, year wise, semester wise, subject wise, pass percentage wise, if the system can generate the report, that can also be called, that is a capability of the system, that can also be called as a requirement, right? Now this is the most difficult step or most difficult phase, because what is requirement has to be identified by the developer, which is very difficult. And not only that, the requirement what we are going to collect will decide precisely what to build in the software. So your software building is completely depending on what is the requirement collected by the developer. So if the requirements are not properly collected and analyzed, obviously your project or your software will not be a quality software. So the requirements is the one which is going to decide what is to be built in the software. So in general, you can say requirements will describe only what of the system, and it is not going to specify the how of the system. Say for example, one of the requirements of a system can be specified as report generation, students report generation. That can be called as a what of the system. But how the report is to be generated will not be specified in the requirements, right? Or say for example, the customer says that he wants online payment facility in the system. So online payment facility is one of the requirements, but how the online payment facility is done is not specified in the requirements. So requirements describe what of the system and not how of the system. So the requirement engineering is the one which is going to produce the document called a software requirement specification document, which is a large document. And this document is generally written in a natural language, right? It will be written in a natural language, and it will contain what the system will do without describing how it will do. That is the significance of the software requirement specification document. So whatever document is generated by this phase, what is this phase? Requirement analysis and specification phase. So this document will contain what the system will do without specifying how it will be done. The input to the requirement engineering phase will be the problem statement, right? Whatever problem statement is given by the customer, that will be the input. The output will be the requirements document, right? Software requirement specification document. And this problem statement will give the overview of the existing system and along with broader expectations from the new system. So requirement engineering or requirement analysis and specification is a very crucial process. The quality of the product is completely depending on the process that creates it, right? So without well written document, developers cannot understand what to build and the customer do not know what to expect, and how the software can be validated is also not known. So it is very important to document each and every specification that is given by the customer. So requirement engineering is the disciplined application of proven principles, methods, tools and notations to describe a proposed system's intended behavior and its associated constraints. So this is a very good definition that you can have for requirement engineering. It is the disciplined application of principles, methods, tools, notations. Why? Because you want to describe the proposed system's behavior and its associated constraints. So the output of this requirement engineering phase will be the software requirement specification, and this is the one which is going to act as a contract between the developer and the customer, because this document becomes an agreement between the developer and the customer. That is why it says, if this document is not well defined or well written, the developers do not know what to build and the customers do not know what to expect, and how and what is to be validated finally is also not known. So the outcome, as it is already told, the outcome of this particular phase will be the document written in natural language, and this document contains a description of what the system will do, and it will not describe how it will do it. Now, if you take the requirement engineering, it focuses on the customer's needs and problem and not on the solutions. That is why we say it specifies what the system will do, right? Because the customer's needs and the problem specification will be there in the document, but it is not going to describe how part, so solution will not be there. Now the outcome will be a software requirement specification document, and another document will also be prepared which you call as requirements definition document, and this is for the customer and this is for the developer. So two documents will be there in this particular phase. One is requirements definition document, the other one is software requirement specification document. Now the requirement engineering process, it involves different steps. Different steps are there, or different processes are there in the requirement engineering, and all the processes, right? So we will have different processes in the requirement engineering, and all these processes that are used for requirement engineering vary widely depending on what is the application domain, who are the people involved, and the organization developing the requirements, right? So when I say these are the different steps or processes of requirement engineering, all these processes may not follow the same strategy. The strategy will be varying. How it will be varying? It will be varying on application domain. So if it is going to be a smaller application, the processes will be different. These processes will be different. If it is going to be a large and complex application, then the processes will be different. In the same way, if you have skilled personalities involved, then it will be different. Whereas if you have non-technical people and not skilled personalities, obviously the processes will be varying. And not only that, which organization is developing the organization developing the requirements, based on that also the processes will be varying. So if you take the requirement engineering, the requirement engineering contains or involves, or let me say includes, these steps. So the problem statement is the input for the requirement engineering process, and the output will be the document. Now in this phase, or in this requirement engineering process, we have 4 different steps. One is the requirement elicitation, the second one is requirements analysis, requirements documentation, and requirements review. So these are the generic activities of any requirement engineering process, the generic 4 activities. The first one is called as requirement elicitation. The requirement elicitation is also known as collecting the requirements or gathering the requirements, and here the requirements are identified with the help of the customers and the existing system, if any. As I have already told you, if you have only the manual system, then with the help of the customers we can identify the requirements, or if there is already existing software, then using that also the developer can collect the requirements. And not only that, the requirement elicitation is generally used to find out what the customers really want, and here in the elicitation process it is going to identify who are all the stakeholders of that particular system, right? So when I say stakeholders, who are directly or indirectly involved in the system. So if you have college management system, the stakeholders are, we have students, teachers, office, principal, then parents, they are all the stakeholders, right? And in the requirement elicitation, the developer needs to identify the stakeholders and what is the objective or goal of each and every stakeholder, and what are the viewpoints of these stakeholders will also be identified. Then the second step is called as requirements analysis phase. Now in the requirements analysis phase, it is going to check for the inconsistencies, defects, or any missing requirements or omissions that will be analyzed in the second step. So analysis of the requirement starts with requirement elicitation. Then the requirements are analyzed. Why we need to analyze? To identify the inconsistencies of the requirements collected, and whether any defects are there in the requirements collected, or whether any requirements are omitted. All these things will be analyzed. And the requirements here, it will be described in terms of relationships and also resolve the conflicts. Say for example, when I say a relationship, let us assume that in the requirement analysis the customer has specified the requirements as he wants to have online application and he also wants to have online payment, right? Now the office people, right, or let me say the department says that they want, the department of the organization says that they want the list of students who have admitted in every, who have applied in every year needs to be generated automatically. So there are two requirements given now. One, the admission applicants reports must be generated, which is given by the department, and office has given another requirement saying that they want to have online application and online payment also. Now in the requirement analysis, it will describe what is the relationship between the online application received and the report generation given by the department. So two different requirements are there, and the relationship between these requirements should also be analyzed in the requirements analysis. So that is what is done here. It is not only checking the inconsistencies, defects or omissions. Along with that, it will identify whether any two requirements are related. If so, these relationships will also be identified, described. Not only that, if any two relationships or any two requirements are having conflicts, right, then that should also be specified in the analysis. Any conflicting requirements are given. So one user will say that I want this kind of requirements, but another user says this particular requirement should not be there. Then there will be a conflicting requirement. That should also be analyzed here. Then the third activity is documentation activity. So documentation is nothing but elicitation and analysis produce the specification documents, and this document is the base for design of the software. So the documentation is going to be the end product of the requirement elicitation and analysis. The documentation is very important as it is going to be the foundation for the design of the software. That is going to be the base for the design of the software, because the next phase of the software development life cycle is software design. So the output of requirement analysis and specification phase will be the input for the design of the software. Then the last step for requirement engineering is requirements review. The review process is carried out to improve the quality of the software requirement specification, and this step is also known as requirements verification. And why we are doing this review? Because the developer needs to improve the quality of software requirement specification. And not only that, it is also used to manage the changes or any of the attributes and tracing. For all these things, the requirement review is to be done. So review and verification is not treated as a discrete activity which is done only at the end of the preparation of the SRS. It should be treated as a continuous activity. That is very important, because it is that is in it has to be treated as a continuous activity. Why? Because it is incorporated into the elicitation, analysis and documentation. So everywhere the review is to be done. So review is to be done in each stage. That is why we say it must be treated as a continuous activity. That is, during the elicitation also the review must be done, during the analysis as well as during the documentation the review is to be done. So the primary output of the requirement engineering phase will be the requirement specification. So if it describes hardware and software, then it becomes the system requirement specification. Right? In the software requirement specification, the entire software process will be described. Apart from that, if you are going to describe both hardware and software, then it becomes system requirement specification. If it describes only the software, then it becomes software requirement specification. So in both the cases, the requirement specification must treat the system as a black box, because it describes only what is to be done in the system and not how it is done in the system. We will discuss more on the requirement engineering process and the different types of requirements in the next session. Thank you.